Hi, I'm Deanna. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. Today I have got a sweater and I would like to unravel the sweater to repurpose it, to use it for some rug hooking or rug punching. So I would like to take a sweater that I've already removed the arms from. Looks like this, just a nice 100% wool sweater. And I would like to unravel it in a systematic way so I've nice long pieces to work with, not little straggly bits, so that I can actually use it for a project. And what I ideally would like to do is unravel it successfully by winding it with my winder like this, right? And get a nice little ball going so that I can repurpose it. I'm going to show you how that's done. The first thing that I want to be thoughtful about is taking the sweater apart at the seams. I don't want to just cut with my scissors and rip, because if you think about the way that a sweater is made, like rows like this is the hem coming up like a little snake, right? Picture all those Victorian postcards of cats playing in boxes and playing with sweaters and unraveling them, right? That's how it works. And if you cut the sides of the sweater off like the body down here, then you're cutting the edge of both sides in both ways of each of those rows, right? And then you only get pieces of yarn that are this big. So you don't want to do that. You want to have an unraveling, some distance going, right? Some mileage going with the same piece of yarn so that you're not stopping and starting. Even if you're a rug hooker and you're only using little bits at a time, still good to get some mileage going, get some speed going with this sweater. So I want to actually unpick it or cut it at the seams, but where the pieces are sewn together. The pieces of a sweater with a commercial sweater, like, you know, a brand, they are put together in the same way. If you're a sewer, the clothing is put together in pattern pieces, right? So the front vest piece is just the front vest piece, and it stops at the shoulder, stops at the hem, and stops at the armholes. So knowing that, I want to come to a place on the seam, on the side seam, where if I pull really hard, I can start to see where those stitches are, right? So this is what I'll be doing. I'm on the wrong side. This is what you'll be doing. I'll be looking at this fold. Ooh, you see that? You see that where the sun's shining through? That's where I want to be. So I'm going to get my scissors, or you know, the little picks in there, the things that unpick clothing. You can use one of those as well, the little seam rippers. I've got my scissors in my hand already, and I'm a good one for whatever's close at hand is the best for me. So I'm going to set about ripping open my seams or cutting open my seams, but only with that thread that's holding them together, because again, I don't want to cut the side seams. I just want to go for what's in here all the way down the body. I'm just going to keep cutting this line right down the body until I can separate the front vest piece from the rest of it, right? As you are trundling along, you will find there are some moments where it is tricky. Now, the seams will have been sewn together with the same color yarn and possibly the very same yarn that the sweater is knit from, right, or made from. So knowing that, it's like looking for a chameleon or a needle in a haystack. They're supposed to blend in. So it is tricky. If you are in the middle of this process along with me and you're thinking, wow, it's hard to identify which one is the stitch and which one is part of the body, I will say it will be hard. Some sweaters harder than others. This one is quite hard, probably because of the dark color. Don't feel bad. You know, I have a degree in costume construction and I am struggling with this as if I've never seen a stitch before in my life. So just know that there are moments and there are sweaters that are easier than others to work with. But you do what you can do. You do the best you can. And at the worst case scenario is you snip some of the body of it. You probably go back to sleep at night and the sun will rise in the morning and it'll all be fine. It's just hopefully this isn't too frustrating and aggravating. And if it is, just know, again, that every sweater is different and will be a different experience to unpick. Now I'm finding as I examine this seam more, you see there's this raised seam that's holding it together. This is even easier to grab. So I'm finding this. It wasn't at the bottom where the hem, like the cuff hem was, but it appears when you go further up the body. So that's a little bit easier to see. You can see it in this side better. Let me see if I can raise it up for you more. Right, you see this little, between all the cat here, you see this green line here? That's almost like the equivalent of like a serging line. That's a machine that's done that. So that I can grab. That's a little bit more visible, particularly with the green on the blue. I can grab that. It's like a little centipede that's sticking out on top. Now, if you're asking yourself, why would I bother reinventing the wheel by doing this rather than just buying yarn? There's a lot of reasons why people do this, right? This is a lot more work. It's a lot more labor intensive than buying some yarn that's ready at the craft store or the yarn store. But the reason people do this is because, number one, they feel attached to the piece that maybe has moth holes or doesn't fit anymore, belong to somebody who's not with us anymore. And for that reason, they would like to reuse the exact same material to do something special. Other people just have that real pull to be very green, very thrifty, very conscious about repurposing. And this kind of project is interesting for those people as well. Now that I have taken apart a little bit of the seam, just for all intents and purposes in this video, I'm into this corner here. You can see I'm fooling with the corner. I'm pulling at the corner, and there emerges on the bottom corner there is one thread that wants to come out and be separate and be different. And that might be the thread that I'm going for. It's okay with your scissors to cut, or your pick, or whatever you've got in your hand, to kind of fool with that corner bit and figure out how to unravel those very first pieces to find that little piece that's going to pull, right? You know how your sweater pulls accidentally on things when you don't want it to, and it's like, brrr, there it goes. Well, that's what you want to happen here. And sometimes it can take some prodding, particularly in clothing that's quite well made, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just fooling with it until I can try to find that little end that might yield and start unraveling. Now, you might be at the point where I am with a project like this, where I'm struggling too much with this cuff. In terms of knowledge, if you're ever wondering to yourself, I'm starting at the cuff because it's at the bottom. Is it possible, because of the way the cuff looks, that the cuff is stitched up to down and the body of the thing is stitched side to side? No, it's not possible. It's just stitched a different stitch so that it's kind of corrugated, right? It does the equivalent of being corrugated. The cuff is causing me enough trouble at this point, right? Because this is fun. It is fun to repurpose. It is fun to reuse and to make do and all that stuff. But if it is happening at the cost of your sanity, it might not be making do. It might be making you a crazy person. So at that point, you sometimes have to make an executive decision like I am here. This cuff is very well made. Congratulations to Chaps or whoever this is. I'm going to take the cuff right off, right? And it might make it easier to find the stitch that I want. Let's see. I'm going to go into the body of it here and fool around some more. See if I can loosen something up. By squeezing and pulling and doing things like that, you can see the loops are starting to emerge. That's the information that I want. I'm pulling them and encouraging them to show me more. Right? It's just fussy. Once you get some mileage going, I just pulled a little bit out, and now I'm dealing with the separation from where I cut it, right? I've got some little greenies in there that I cut off the cuff, and I want to discourage them from tagging along, because as soon as I get this first row off, I can safely attach it to my winder. See, that's where that one ended. So that was that. Nice piece of fiber, but I'd like to have a little bit more mileage. So I am making some headway, and I am a firm believer that there's no point in making a video for you showing you how things ideally would work when they really don't work that way. This is like right here, the city of bad words, right? Because I just pulled all of these out in short succession, right? And I mean, I've only been working on this for 10 minutes. What can one expect? And I'm finally getting to a place where, getting away from that cuff, I'm able to pull some length off. And every sweater is going to be different. I got this sweater from a friend, and she did a lot of washing sweaters for, using them for rug hooking, making sure there's no moths or moths' eggs in there. You can see now it really is coming off. It's probably going to stop at the edge. Yep, it did. So far, they've all been stopping at the edge. And I can wind them, even though I unpicked it. This can happen. But you can see I am still getting a lot of good material. So let me see how it goes working on winding a little ball like this, because these long pieces together, that is going to make the beginning of a ball. And if you are a rug hooker, this is, I mean, this is 100% wool. You can see it's beautiful, shiny wool with a beautiful glow to it. As soon as I got away from that cuff at the bottom, right, where the two different kinds of knit joined, that was a problematic area. Now I'm doing a little bit better. Let me see if I can start winding some of this. Got my little winder set up, and I'm just going to try to get some of these pieces that I unraveled, because they are quite, you know, they're all kinked up, but they are quite nice long pieces. When I get to the end of one, I'm probably just going to, because I am a rug hooker most of the time, take another one of my good long pieces, and I'm just going to tie it on for the sake of getting a little skein going, and keep going. And I'm going to do this until I have a good little ball happening. So I'm getting some good traction going here. You know, again, this isn't something for everybody, right? And the main thing to remind yourself is this sweater exceptionally difficult? I feel that the one I have in my hand is. But you might be lucky and find one that is not. What should you be looking for? I'm being real careful here, right? What should you be looking for in a sweater that you're choosing from the thrift store? I'm going to encourage it to come out a little bit like this so it doesn't want to break as much, right, as I'm spinning it. You should be looking for a sweater that when you pull at the seams the way I was at the beginning of this video, you can see the stitches or the yarn, you can see what's holding it together. Because if you can see that, you can pick at that, right? If you can't see that, you might have a time. This was a bit of a time. Now it's going to be worth it, I think, because I like these colors. The blue blends into the green. These are colors I use a lot with my rug hooking projects. So it probably will be working. I am getting a nice little ball going now, but it is taking some time. Now there are other times when I unravel a sweater and it doesn't take any time at all. You know, those shaker knits that Madonna wore in the 80s, they're usually cottons, but those come apart like crazy, right? So it's really going to depend on the sweater. Make sure, number one, that it's a material that you want to use for something or to put in your stash. If it's a sweater you're about to throw away anyway or somebody else has put out, put it in the wash, right? And try this. Unravel as much as you can because, hey, free fiber, right? If it's something special, maybe do the same. But if you're shopping for a sweater, just look for those seams. Look at how it's put together and think about how much grief and aggravation that has potential to give you. It can be hardly any. This was an exceptional amount, but I'm still going to post this video because I think it's important to know that if you start unraveling something and it's difficult, it is not you. It's all the different things that a sweater can do to you while you're trying to get material out of it, right? It doesn't want to be reverse engineered. It wants to keep going the way that it is. But it is a lot of fun, and it can be a lot of fun, and it's a great way to source and to repurpose things. So give it a shot and see how it goes. See if you can find some things that you can tear apart and reverse engineer. It is a lot of fun and very satisfying to use fiber that you have foraged for yourself, and this is a great way to do it. I'll see you next time at Ribbon Candy Hooking.